Good morning, everyone. This is my first time in Dubai, all right? I visit Tashkent, Uzbekistan, upon occasion, and I'm amazed at the respect that people give to me. It's something that we don't have in Russia, where I live, in America, where I come from, or basically in Europe anymore. So I would like to give my respect back to you, and I would also like to ask you to respect me in a slightly different way. I'm not a professor. I'm not Mr. Cannon. My name is simply Donald. And there's a pedagogical reason that we're doing this, and you'll see why it is. So if you have questions, just Donald, please, okay? Second thing, anybody have any questions? Even when I'm in the middle of a sentence, raise your hand or say, Donald, I've got a question, please. The things that you have are much more important than the things that I have, okay? I'm only the teacher. You are the people who make this happen. As I've told Ali, all I do is add a little bit of salt and pepper to what it is that you're cooking. Everybody follow me? I speak fast. Everybody understand me? Good. Okay. So questions are our friends, please. Okay. I am not a lawyer. Okay. Okay. Although in America, out of necessity, we know a lot about the law. The law is involved in our lives much more so than, let's say, for people in Russia. I don't know how it is here in Dubai, or in the UAE. I just don't know, but that's it. Okay, so good. Imagine you are a computer. You use a computer. You know how to make the computer work. You are a computer user, okay? And all lawyers are computer users. Or let's put it this way. All lawyers are English users. Now, if you want to know how the computer works, you have to be a computer programmer, which is totally different than a user. If you want to write effectively, you have to do exactly the same thing. You have to take the language apart, English, and use it as if you were programming a computer. And I don't know of a single lawyer who knows how to do that. That's what we're going to be doing here today. We're going to learn how to program English so that you can use it effectively as lawyers. But if you notice, it's just plain English. It's not plain legal English. It's just plain English. Most lawyers don't know how to use English. That's all I can say. And we'll come to why that is so. Okay. We probably will not get through my entire presentation today. We continue tomorrow online. So please come in to the next presentation. Okay, good. Okay, just plain English. Whoops, hold on. Let's go over here. There we go. Okay. Everybody see the picture? The pointillist picture? This is how I like to teach. Okay? If you see the points, the dots in the picture, you get up close to them, all you see are dots. And that's what we're going to do with English. We're going to look at the dots and see how they work, how one dot interacts with another dot. Then we're going to step back and we're going to see the entire picture. And we're going to keep doing this in and out, okay? And that's the only way that we get to understand how the various different programming features of the language work, okay? We're reprogramming. So, come in, look back. Come in, look back. That's what we're going to do. So let's take a look at this. And I want you to, I'm going to read, all the examples I give you are written by lawyers. And here's the one we want to look at first. I'm going to read it to you aloud, and then I'm going to ask you what you think it might say. Honestly, I have no idea what it says, okay? The analysis process that was the requirement of the experimentation protocol is an indication of the researcher's lack of ability in data synthesis. It's so difficult I can barely pronounce it. I can barely read the sentence. Anybody have any idea of what it might mean? What might it mean? Is it visible? Huh? Okay. Anybody have any idea? Okay, whoa. I'm old. I don't hear well. And I don't go to a doctor because I want to make my students speak up. So you have to speak up if I'm going to hear you, okay? Up, loudly. Yeah.
Experimentation protocol that is enforced, and that there's a certain...
No. Tell me what it says.
That the process that was used by the researcher is in violation of a certain experimentation protocol.
Okay, that's one idea. Okay, anybody have another idea? Okay, so again, what did you say?
Exception is in violation of the experimentation protocol.
Okay, it is in violation of the experimentation protocol. I'm not sure what we have first, but let's hear. Does anybody else have another idea? Go, please. Give her the microphone.
So, sentence. I think the main idea comes as experiment done by the researcher. An element of it is showing that he doesn't have the ability for data synthesis.
Right.
So I don't think so. The violation could be the term. It's that there is a lack of education, or he doesn't have the skill of data synthesis. This is proved by the fact that there was an analysis process in his experimental protocol.
Okay, good. Tell me in 10 words or less what you just said. 10 words.
The researcher's experiment protocol was not up to the standards for data synthesis.
Okay, good. Here are the possible things that I come up with, okay? One possibility. Researchers don't know how to synthesize data. Here's synthesis, okay? That's not what you said, but what one of you said, I think was here, the analysis process in the protocol is flawed. No? Okay. How about this one? Researchers analyze the data wrong because of the protocol. Something like that? Okay. It can be any one of these, okay? Here we have 22 words. Here's what I think it might be, the closest thing I think it might be. How the researchers analyze the information shows they can't synthesize data. Yes? No? Something like that, okay? We've made half the words. Now, we really don't know what it says. And we're going to go on. We're going to come back to this. But this is what we call, in English, gobbledygook. Gobbledygook is the way turkeys talk. Gobble, 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 okay? And this is gobbledygook. This is what we call, here, it means nothing. Okay, fine. So, we're going to be acquiring new skills. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. Now, if you think I'm going to teach you plain English today, no, it's not going to work. You have to develop what I call muscle memory. You have to know how to ride the bicycle. And that's going to take you, if you want to learn to use plain English in whatever you're doing, it's going to take you a year, at least, okay? So, we're acquiring new skills. These are the little training wheels that we have. Keep them on. And when I say keep them on, I mean that I want you to follow the rules. Okay. We had specific rules that we were going to follow. I gave you writing rules to use in the short essays that you wrote, okay? And the writing rules are the things that tell us how to ride this bicycle. These are the training wheels that you use. They're difficult to understand, and you just have to learn how to use all of the rules at the same time. One rule conflicts another rule, and you have to find, I live in Russia, you have to find a way of taking these rules here that we're going to call the wolves, and these rules over here that we're going to call the sheep, and you have to have it so that your wolves get enough food and your sheep stay alive. And that's your trick, okay? Am I making any sense? Wolves and sheep? Yes? Okay, good. Let's hope we are going to. So, the main rules that we're going to be talking about, of course, are, can you see them? Yes, okay. Yeah, okay, good. We're going to be talking about the passives down here. And that's where we're going to be stressing things. So let's see. I think we can get out of here like this. Okay, fine. Acquiring new skills. I'm going to pose some questions, and I'm not going to ask you the answers to the questions. I'm merely going to ask you to think about the answers as you were writing your essays. So what was difficult about writing your essay? Your first essay and then your second essay after you listened to the presentation. And why was it difficult? Could you follow the writing rules? That's difficult to do. If so, how? If not, how? How did you resolve your writing problems? And what are you currently learning by using or following the writing rules? That's where we want to go right now. Okay, fine. So, how do we successfully communicate as lawyers? Can anyone give me a simple answer of 5 words? How do we communicate as lawyers? I'm talking about the very essence. 5 words. Oh, yeah, please.
The person has to speak with clarity along with facts.
Along with what?
Facts.
Facts. Okay, good, good. Clarity along with facts, yes. Precision and what? Burning?
Brevity.
Brevity. Brevity, good, okay. Anybody else? Okay, let's look. Okay, did I hear a third? Did I see a third hand? Yes? No? Okay. If, yeah, go. Okay.
Weakness. Less weakness. Weakness.
Weakness.
Less weakness.
Okay, well, let's put it the other way around. More strength. More strength in your words. Good, in your sense. Yeah. Huh?
I can add something.
Of course, whenever.
Being to the point.
Good. Being to the point. Okay, you're all looking at it from the lawyer's law point. Let's look at it from the English point. Because here's what happens. Okay, we have specialized legal training. And this is our skill. It's not my skill because I'm not a lawyer. Okay, we also have language. And that is the tool. Okay, think of, has anybody been to museums like the Louvre, where they have these antique pieces of furniture that are all inlaid and that were made, 200 years ago, and they're just gorgeous? Well, the people who made these had very specific tools so that they could make things work, and they made it work. Without the tool, you don't have the table. Without the language skill, you don't have the message. Okay? This is what makes successful communication. The problem with lawyers is they look at the top and they don't look at the bottom. They don't look at the tools that they're using. That's one of the big difficulties that we have. Okay, fine. This is a picture of the famous Russian poet Pushkin. Okay? Pushkin basically changed the Russian language, made the Russian language the way it is today. He was killed in a duel in something like 1835. So this is 200 years ago. His language made the Russian language succinct the way it is today. Now, he's giving his exam. It's a very famous picture. Can anybody tell me what you think that word, give me one word that would talk about what he is doing? Anybody? Yeah.
Like
What? Say it.
showmanship.
Showmanship. Well, let's get it a little bit. He's not showmanship. He's reciting poetry. Okay. When you recite poetry, what's that about? What is the genesis of that? Where does poetry come from? What? Literature? Well, it doesn't come from literature. It is literature. Where does literature come from? English? Well, no, it's Russian. I'm sorry. Okay, fine, Russian, English, French, whatever, Italian, Dante, whoever. Sorry? Language. Of course it's language. Yeah, okay.
Arya's thoughts, beliefs, experiences that he would have had while probably experiencing living in Russia.
Okay, good. Here's the specific word I'm looking for, and you'll understand where I'm trying to go. It has to do with any form of art. Inspiration. Right? Okay. Now, claiming your ideas. Now, writing looks more like this. There's this little old guy at the typewriter. Notice what he has down here? This is his wastebasket. That's where he throws his trash. The wastebasket is twice as big as the typewriter, which tells you what? He's doing a lot of rewriting, okay? Now, we're not going to be talking about inspiration with writing. We're going to be talking about perspiration, sweat. And everybody thinks that writing is inspiration. It's like 0.5% inspiration, 99% perspiration. That's what you have to do. And you just have to do it. There's no other version for it. Okay, so just plain English, this is what we're doing, and it's hard work. And that's all I can say about it. You just have to do the hard work. Okay, so one moment. I'd like to look at this particular example. Okay, fine. And this is part of one of the essays. And look at what we have. I'm going to read it. Desk tables represent a fractured image of the personality of who is in possession of it. What I want to look at is the elements that we have here. Here we have one element. Here we have a second element. So that's two. Represent is going to be, I think we're going to make it a third element, although it is not a noun. It's what we are doing, okay? We're looking here at, we have also a fractured image. Whoops, that's a 4. Come on. 4.
Add one more space after.
Right.
After it. Yes. And then.
4. There we go. Fractured image. I have to go a little bit more slowly than I'm used to because of the way this is working. Personality. Right? No. I got in the wrong place. Thank you. Okay, so 6 of who is in possession. 7. Okay, so here we have 7 different items in the sentence. What am I, your reader, supposed to focus on? I get desk tables. Well, first of all, what is a desk table? We have a table. This is a table. But a desk is a place where you work. So what are we talking about?
We don't have such a phrase in English.
We don't have such a phrase in English. A desk table is like saying buttery butter. Okay? But it doesn't go together because I don't know what a desk table is. Okay? Okay, represent, fine. That's the idea. Then we come.
Redundant?
Pardon me?
Is it redundant?
Well, it's redundant. It's almost like saying a sitting chair, something like that. But we don't have that combination, so I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, we just don't have that in English. We come to a fractured image. Okay, fractured. It's an interesting word, and my mind focuses immediately on fractured. Image, okay, a fractured image like in a mirror, broken in a mirror, of the personality, okay, of who is in possession of it. Well, now, wait a minute. What first of all, in possession, who owns it. We'll come back to that. But then the next thing we have is it. What is it? Is it the desk? Is that the image or the personality? We don't know what it is. We have three it's in this sentence, and we don't know what it is. We can only kind of guess at what it might be. Okay, we're going to, hopefully this will work. No, we can't. And we've undone it. Okay, so we have to save it and come back to it. I'm just putting that out there to think about what we're doing. Okay, fine. Now, what I'd like to do is after that is take a look at a second one. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. We're talking about now about the top of the desk, okay? And I'm just going to read it aloud. Well, I should say it is my favorite thing in my room due to having several things which I need during my day. Actually, I guess all of the students, girls, cares about the decoration of their desk because we study, watch movies, and there. I think we have something like over 30 words here. What are we talking about? We have 44 words, okay? Well, of course, what we have is a spoken text. That's okay. As a first draft, it works. In fact, I often advise people when you have something difficult that you want to write, speak it out first, make a recording, and then run it through a transcriber, and you get a text. It works very nicely, actually. Okay, but I would say it's favorite thing in my room. Well, we don't know, again, what it is. We haven't described that. So we're talking about the top of the desk. First of all, we have to get there. In my room, due to having several things, because I have, what's this due to, okay? That's the lawyer's trick. The lawyer always, if you can say something in 5 words, you're always going to choose 5 words over 1. Lawyers love it, okay? Because make it simple. We're talking about plain English, okay? Now, why do we have plain English for lawyers, okay? This is more than just moot courts. In America, we have jurisdictions where your briefs, whatever you're writing to the judge, have to be in plain English, okay? So, you're the judge. You tell me that I have to have a brief made in 2 weeks for our next court session. I go home and I write it up that very same night and I send it to you, and I come in the next 2 weeks later and you ask, do we have any preliminary issues? And I say, yes, Your Honor. I sent you my brief. Were you able to read it? You say, no, I didn't have time to read it. Do you happen to have a copy of it with you? Of course. Here, Your Honor, please read it. Okay, you read it. How much time are you going to spend on reading it? Sorry, louder, please. A microphone.
I don't know idea. I don't have. I think I don't know idea.
Okay. Would it be 5 minutes to read a brief?
It's maybe 1 day.
1 day? We're in court. You're asking to read it.
I think
That's the whole thing. Okay.
because I don't have any experience.
Okay. Well, that's it. Okay. The judge, you give this to the judge. You want him or her, in your case, to understand what you wrote in something like 30 to 45 seconds. You want reading right through it. so that it's all clear there. This is why we have plain English, because otherwise you're not going to get your idea across to the judge. The judge is going to say, okay, I didn't read it. Let's continue. What happens? You lose, okay? So you've got to get it in plain English. Now, it may take you 10 hours to write something for a judge to read in 30 seconds, but if it's important, that's what you do, okay? And the same thing works essentially in moot courts. You've got to have stuff written in such a way that the judges sitting up here can look at, oh, okay, got it. And they're going to get only part of it, but that it has to be that way, okay? So it goes beyond moot courting too, okay? So that's where we wanted to go there. I don't know, this isn't working. It's changed itself, you see? Okay, we just that's all we have to do. That okay, fine. Good. Okay, fine. Sorry. Good. Oh. Okay, we're talking about various different things. One aspect of plain English, another aspect of plain English, a third aspect of plain English. Let's move on to what I like to say is different language structures. Okay, now I'll speak about Russian a little bit because that's my main second language. That's my second language, I should say, actually. We can say in Russian, for example, in the bus, I saw a man in a black coat with two big bags and packages and a little dog speaking French. In English, we can't do it, but in Russian, you can see the man has an ending on it, and speaking has also another ending on it, which put the two together. We can't do it in English, of course. So how can we possibly do this same thing in English by moving things around, reconstructing? Anybody have an idea? Let's take the different parts: bus, man, coat, packages, dog, French. How can we move things around so that maybe in English it will work correctly? Anybody? Yes? Yes? No?
Can you pick up the microphone?
Oh, where's our microphone? Okay.
That's there. It's the thing.
Okay. Of course you have to think. This is really difficult. And what's difficult is when you write something, you've got your idea in front of you. And what you've got to do is you get outside of that box and reconstruct. We'll be coming to the outside of the box in a moment, okay? So you've got to say, I have to do this differently. But how can I do it when I've got these same words sitting, staring me in the face? Any idea?
While I was in the bus, I saw a man speaking French, wearing black coats with two big packages with a little dog.
Wearing, okay. How do you wear a black coat with packages?
Wearing black coats, holding.
Okay. No, you can't add to it. Okay. Okay.
I saw a man speaking French. I saw a man in a black coat speaking French with a dog and two big packages.
You still got him speaking French with the dog and the packages. Okay.
Speaking French with the dog.
Okay. And the packages, like here. Okay. See, I saw a man in a black coat speaking French with two big packages and a little dog. How do you speak with packages? Okay. You can see how it doesn't work. Okay. Now, this is the problem with English. Okay. Hold on. Now they're speaking with a dog and packages. Okay. Russian has, anybody know German or Latin? Latin? Somebody got German. Okay. So, help me explain the idea of cases in German or Latin. When we have the word like house, which means house, okay, in English. But if you go home, you go zu Hause, and you put an ending on the verb, the noun house. And you know that this is a different case. You do the same thing in Latin, okay? And what happens is this man speaking French, when you have the speaking here, you have the same kind of an ending that you have here, so that they know they go together, okay? These are nouns. This is how they go. In Russian, we have 36 different instances of this house and zu Hause, so that we know we can construct a sentence that we start here with a subject, bloody, 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 blah, and we have the object down here, and we know that the object refers to this up here, while we have other stuff in between. Am I making any sense the way it works? Okay? We can't do that in English, because in English, we have only 4 endings. Okay? For example, I'll show you how it works and how these endings work. So, we have, for example, my mother. Is it my mother? Their mother, okay? Then we've got their mother's books, for example. This is actually an ending on the noun. We can go to the plural, and we have mothers, several mothers, or several mothers' books. We have 4 by comparison to 36 in Russian. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin, because this is nouns. When we come to English, how many? Everybody here Farsi speakers? Okay, good. How many verb forms do you have in Farsi? Sorry? I'm talking about like I do, I am doing, I do, I was going, I have gone. I'm talking about those. No, I'm talking more. You see, I do, I am going, I do. That's all present. There are 3 in the present. I was doing, I have done, I will have been doing. All of these they're forms, not just the tenses.
I believe there are more than 10 like this structures.
In Persian? Really? Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, okay. Whatever their names are.
Get you completely. You're saying you're taking some examples that I am doing, I do, I was doing, I have done.
No,
so these are different tenses.
No. Tenses. Okay, we'll talk about present tense. I do like milk. I am drinking milk. I drink milk every day. 3 forms of one tense. Okay? Let's go to the future. Okay? I will go to the store. It's about the only one. Let's go to the past. I did. I was doing. I have done.
3 or 4 times these kind of different forms.
In English?
In Farsi.
In Farsi, 3 or 4?
The present tense we have maybe 3 or
4. Okay.
Times of saying this.
Oh, in the present.
In the present.
Okay, so for all of the tenses, how many forms do you have? We have tense, and then we have, like subsections as forms. How many would you have?
Haven't yet counted. I don't.
10, 12?
It exceeds maybe 10. 10 to 15 maybe.
Okay. This is a good example because. Okay. I don't know how they work.
How many do we have in English?
Okay, that's where we're going to go next. Okay. We're going to go. This was the noun match, noun football match. Let's go to oops, wait a minute. No. Before we go, keep that in mind. Let's look at this. There are 3 misstatements of fact in appellant's opening brief. Okay? What action do we have in this sentence? What is the action in this sentence? We don't have it. There are. So what? There are,
Misstatements.
huh? Misstatements. Okay, you're jumping ahead, okay? But that's very good, okay? But you know the answer. We've been through this before, okay? So it's unfair. So say it differently.
Can you take another example?
No, well, I don't have one ready. I just don't want to spend the time doing it. Okay, get rid of the there are. There are is a dead statements. There is a microphone. There is a chair. There is some water. Forget it. How are you going to say it correctly so that you're working like a lawyer or like somebody who is speaking? Who can reconstruct it for me? Get rid of the there are. Go.
There are three.
No, get rid of the there are. No, there are.
Use the mic.
Microphone, please.
The appellant has committed 3 misstatements of facts in their opening brief.
Okay, you can't commit 3 statements of facts, but okay, fine. Yeah, your idea?
Okay, so in order to have an active sentence here, we have to get rid of the nominalization of misstatements. So I believe the word misstatement, do we have such a word?
Sorry, say again?
Do we have such a word like misstatement?
Exactly, we do have a verb,
We do have-
misstate.
Okay, so if we have, I believe we can change the subject of the sentence, and then we will have appellant's opening brief.
Say it. Say it, keep going. You're one step away from the answer.
Okay, appellant's opening brief has misstated
Misstated.
3 facts.
Exactly. Okay, now, excellent. Okay, I know very few people who can go from 1 to 3. There's usually a intermediate statement contains 3 misstatements. In other words, we're staying with the noun. You've seen this here. Okay. You've seen this here, the misstatement, and you've defined that as the action, which is correct. And you came up with appellant's brief misstates 3 facts. How perfect. All of this there are and everything doesn't work. We've taken the nominalization, misstatement, and turned it into a noun, into a verb. And we do that, okay, because this other idea. Every word you write does one of 2 things. Either it adds to your meaning or it detracts from it. Every single word. So when we've got there are, it detracts from your meaning, okay? Statements of fact, of course, of fact, it gets it wrong. It's just misstates facts, okay? Now, look what happened. Look what you did. You had, let's take out, there we go. I've got it back. Okay, let's get rid of there are. We don't need it, okay? We're going to change misstatements just to misstated. But we're going to move things around because misstate has to go in the middle of the sentence as the verb, and we're going to move things. We're not going to say that the facts are. What we're going to say is the opening brief misstates facts. Now, why do we do it that way? Because we want to stress the facts. The facts are the things that your judges are going to remember. Okay, so what are we doing? Here's what's happening in English. And this is where we get to the verb match, the verb football match. In English, we have what I call 21 verb forms, the way you were talking about Farsi, okay? We also have 9 modal verbs. May, might, must, shall, should, would, will, can, could. All of those. There they are. And this is how things work in English. So when you've got a statement like what we saw here, you have to do exactly the process that you did. Very well done. Okay? Everybody following? Interesting or boring? If it's boring, tell me. Huh? Okay, good. If I always tell my students, if you find it boring, say, Donald, it's boring. Move on. Let's talk about something different. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Different. Questions, comments. Okay. You speak Russian too? No, okay. Нет, okay, fine. Okay, нет. Great. Okay. Русский. Okay, fine. Anybody happen to know any Bulgarian by any chance? Bulgarian? Okay. Bulgarian is another Slavic language, okay? And it used to have all of these case endings that we have in English, in Russian, I'm sorry. So it had the 36 numbers. But those atrophied, and now they don't have any case endings, which means that they had to modify. They went from a noun-based language to a verb-based language. And it's really interesting if you say in Bulgarian, and I don't speak any Bulgarian, so don't think I'm talking about Bulgarian, but I have a lot of friends who do speak Bulgarian. If you say in Bulgarian, my mother played chess when she was a little girl, you have to use a different verb. If you say, I played chess when I was a little girl, because in one case, if you witnessed the action, you use one verb. If you didn't witness the action, you use a different verb. And this happens all the time. So what we have is just a linguistic concept that you have certain bases, noun or verb. And English is verb based. And you just have to live with that. Okay? I'd really love to know about Farsi, how that works.
I just searched on the net.
Go.
There was something like 16 forms.
Forms.
Maybe it's not the website I saw, it's not authoritative, but it was something like 16 different forms.
Well, I can tell you if you go out and look on the internet and say how many forms are there in English, I'll say 12 or something. I counted them up myself, okay, because I know how they get used, and you have to learn them, and I came up with 21. That's just the way it goes. So yeah. But it sounds as if it's working very much the same. So using your Farsi-based thoughts, you should be able to make good English forms. Okay, so that's where we were with the verbs. Let me see. We have to see when we're going to look at some more.
You mean we have, for example, one past tense in Russian language?
One past tense.
One past, one present, and one future. No more. For example, we don't have present continuous in.
No, none of that exists. We have a different kind of a system, and where we have a completed action and an incompleted action, but they're different verbs themselves, okay? They sound a lot alike, but they have different things. So no, basically we just either it's this or that. Present, past, present, future. And in fact, in one of those forms, you don't have a present. So you have two. Okay. Fine. Good. Sorry. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, okay, fine. Where we want to go now is back to, hopefully we can do it. Okay. There we go. Okay, fine. Good. Okay. What I want to do next is to look at this. So let's look at, oh, this is the wrong one. Now that we've got it, I've got it wrong. Okay, hold on just a minute. Okay. Here is the second version of where we were, okay? My desk table exists, a fragmentary no, sorry, no, it's the same thing. How would we correct it? Where is the action in that first sentence? No, let's do the top one where the numbers are up here. Sorry. Where is the action?
Either represent or moves in possession.
Okay. Well, You're saying we go with represents? Represents is a very weak active verb. Okay? Think of pictures. Mary is running. John is eating. Philip is singing. Represents? John represents? What does John represent? He represents clients. Okay? It's a weak verb. Let's go with a more active verb. Anybody? Yeah. You have to get outside of the box here to see what's going on because it's different.
I want to understand first statements. What I understand is the table basically represents the person or personality who has the position of that table. So if I want to look at it logically, I think the position is the more accurate one because the main statement here is the position. Who's the personality? What does the table represent? Personality of the person's position.
Okay, you're getting lost in all of these nouns. Okay, and you can't come up with a verb because you're forced into it. We'll come back to you in here. I got a question here. Yeah. Practice. Fractured. Okay, take it from there. One step further. Go. A fractured image. What is a fractured image like? Where do you see a fractured image? Huh? What?
It's not.
No. In real life, where can you see a fractured image? What? Broken mirror. Mirror. Can we make mirror into a verb? Okay. My desk mirrors my personality. See how simple it is? You have to go through the process. Okay. And you see what you did was a nonlinear association. What was your idea? Shows, but mirrors is so much stronger. Okay, so when you've got these ideas, when you've got these pictures in your mind, just as what I said, John runs, Mary eats, whatever. Try to go with those, and you get to the same idea of mistakes. Okay, so okay, add anything?
No.
Okay, sorry, I have to catch where we're going. Okay, fine. Okay, shall we go on with this? Let's see. Okay, let's look at the second sentence here. And we'll have to do it this way. I think, yeah, we have to do it this way. We'll just make it, yeah. No, we don't have it here. We'll go with the second version here. Even though it might distract me when it lacks proper organization sometimes, it remains a cozy spot for exploring imagination. So now that we have the idea that the desk mirrors my personality, let's make that one sentence. Let's go with the next sentence. How do we want to make the next sentence work? Any ideas? What is, okay, where are our possible, is it here? Yeah, here. Where are our possible actions? Distracted. What's another possibility? What? Exhibits No, exhibits is like represents, okay? How do you exhibit something, okay? You see? Another possibility, of course, is,
Lacks proper.
well, lacks proper organization. Let's not talk about what it lacks. Let's talk about what it has. It's disorganized, okay? Again, hold on, just let me finish my sentence. The idea of lawyers will use three words, lacks proper organization, instead of disorganization. Just saying disorganization, sorry.
The last two words, exploring imagination. I feel like exploring is kind of like an action.
Okay. Well, we actually got two things here, because you see, it even though is a subordinate clause, and this is your main clause. So we're going to have to do two different actions. So your idea of exploring is, that's our second thing. And I'm not too sure what exploring imagination is, but we'll get to it. You got a good idea. Anybody have any ideas what else we might do? Yeah. Okay. Don't do lacks proper organizations. Don't tell us what it lacks. Tell us what it has. The hardest thing to do as a lawyer is to describe and then argue a negative. So if you've got a negative, turn it into a positive. Okay? You can't argue a negative. How can you argue with a black hole, for example? You can't. Okay?
Fragmentary image of one's personality. If we focus on exhibits, a fragmentary image.
We've already turned the fragmented image into mirrors. Okay, mirrors my personality. Remember, we came up here. My desk mirrors my own personality, and we got a really short sentence. And since we've made it short, we can add more to it. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make things short so that we can add to them. Any other ideas with this second part? Yeah.
The thing with the lacks proper organization, I believe I write exactly the opposite in my writing which I sent to you. So I believe the positive half of the sentence is that it has everything on the table. So everything is like, in case you need it, you can just pick that.
Well, here we're talking about it. Sometimes it distracts me because it's not organized. Okay, so let me see what words I actually came up with that I thought might work. I couldn't quite figure out the exploring imagination, unfortunately. But how about something that like, and although it's disorganization, maybe it's disarray, and although it's disorganization distracts me, I still feel safe here. Something like that. Anybody? Does it work? I'm not too sure, but the exploration, what were we exploring imagination? I don't know. So that just, that is one of the things that confuses me. Okay, fine. Let's go on. Okay, fine. Now, let's go back to it, because there's one thing another thing that lawyers just love to do, and come on over here. It's not going to go. No, let me do it. There we go. Okay, fine. So if we go back up to the top here, this whole idea, my desk mirrors my personality, and even though it might be disarrayed at times, I still feel cozy here. Now, one of my students, in writing a memorial for mock Jessup. I helped teach a mock Jessup preparation course in Moscow. Started out with a long Latin phrase. In English, we proceed from specifics to generalities. In Russian, we begin with generalities and we proceed to the specifics. The mindset is totally different. How do you do it in Farsi? You start out with a broad general statement and then go to the specific?
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't work that way in English. Better start with what is going on. Now look at what happens next down here. Okay, on the desktop, I am not doing well with the stuff today. I'm sorry. Okay.
You're doing well.
No, I'm not doing well. Okay. So now look what we say here after this. This is like the next paragraph. On top of the desk, I assemble a collection of decorative objects. These ornaments culminate aesthetic beauty. Okay. There's rewriting here, but we're talking about specifics. Okay. So that's how I would start. Okay. I keep all kinds of decorations on the top of my desk. I like beauty in my room when I'm working. It makes me feel good, blah, 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 blah. Then put in, for your conclusion, the stuff that you started out with in the generality. Anybody know Russian literature? No? Has anybody read, okay, do you know Anna Karenina? Okay. Anna Karenina is a great big novel like this. It's one of Tolstoy's best novels. Well, I shouldn't say best. There you go, one of his two most famous novels. And it's about a woman in Russia who goes through divorce. And in Russia, you couldn't divorce in those days. And, of course, she ends up killing herself. So Tolstoy wrote this amazingly long novel, beautifully done. And when he got finished, after he got finished, he added at the very beginning a phrase that says something like, all happy families are happy in all the same way. All unhappy families are happy in their own individual ways. He had to throw in this generality. Otherwise, it didn't work right with the Russian mentality. It doesn't work in English, okay? So start with the specifics and then go to the generalities. How are we doing on time? Oh, yeah.
Can you use the microphone?
It's gone.
The microphone needs a visa to get there.
Okay. Maybe we need to have a microphone passer.
Because I'm sitting right now here. Some do not have.
Oh, I know the people who have a hard time following. Yeah.
I wanted to ask about, is there any tip or any special way to define the generality from the, specific subjects?
Details. I mean, if you can feel, touch, smell, taste it, it's a detail. Okay? And that's what you want. That's what you want your judges to do. You want your judges to feel, smell, taste what you are presenting to them. You don't want, according to law such and such and such and such, signed by the UN, blah, 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 blah. A state has, sorry, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay?
How should he have started? In the case of Anna Karenina, how should he have started his sentence?
I'm sorry, I don't understand you.
In the case of Anna Karenina, he started with that specific sentence. If he did not want to start with the general, how should he have started with the specific? What's the indication?
Okay, well, go back and read Anna Karenina. I don't remember how it begins, but it begins, on a bright sunny day, blah, 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 something like this. Okay, so and I think that's how it begins. But I was just giving it to you as an idea of how the mentality works. I'm not going to criticize Tolstoy. You think I'm sorry. No, I can't.
It's like English. If we wanted to start with a specific would be like quoting, in the case of law, to be quoting a law, quoting convention.
Okay. Let's look at something. Maybe this idea might help. I was going to present it later, but I think you asked a question that is important. And, well, of course it's important, but I think it's better to bring it up now than later. And here it is. Come on, open up. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to show you a memorial written in Russia for the Russia rounds in 2020, was it? Okay, fine. Okay. Oh yeah, the hyacinth. Okay. I don't remember if it's A or if it's R, but it doesn't make any difference. We're going to go down and
A represents the applicant.
yeah,
And R for
yeah, of course. I just don't remember which side this is for. Okay. Okay, it doesn't make any difference because quite often they come out in certain places the same. Okay. Now, and this is kind of getting ahead of ourselves because this is going to talk more about passives. But when we talk about passives and not using passives, we automatically get into what do I want to say? Into this is way.
You could have just clicked the table of contents.
I have no idea how to do that.
You want to see the
no,
pleadings?
no. We'll get there.
Part?
No. I know when I get there. Okay. I don't want more more training in technology. I'm sorry. Okay, fine. Here are statements of facts. You know what this is all about. Okay, what we're going to look at, and if I can make it bigger, I hope I can make it bigger. And we'll come back. We're going to look at the principle. I'm going to do exactly what I'm telling you not to do. We're going to look at the principle, and then we're going to come back and look at how it works. Okay, so we have color coding. Yellow is active verbs. Red highlighted is passive verbs. And the red font, you'll see red font down here, is what I call non-active verbs, like is, have. We're going to scroll down through, look at what is passive, look at what is active. Those are the main things, yellow and red. Okay, this won the best memorial for the Russia rounds. Okay, so I'm just going to count the passives. So there's one passive, two passives. Look at the number of active verbs. Okay, two passives, three passives, four passives, five passives, six passives. Okay, now here are the counts. Here we have passives of 6 to 8%, depending upon how we're going to count it. Actives are 57 to 76, depending upon how you count it. And the semi-passives, the is, haves, 12 to 16. There should be less, but it's hard to do. It's really hard to do because you've got to take the information that you have in the compromise, and sometimes you often just don't know what happened. But there are ways of getting around that. Basically, your passives should be under 5%. Okay, now if we go back and we look, I'm going to read the first few lines from the statement of facts, and you'll see that what I mean by the details. Okay, Adawa and Rasasa border each other on the Crucinian in the Crucinian region. I've forgotten how to say these words, which includes 4 other countries. Only in this region does the Helian hyacinth. Okay, thank you. I need help with my English. Grow. Okay, yeah. And both Adawa and Rasasa derive from it a substantial portion of their revenue. You see how we have, even though we're talking about general kinds of things, we still have very specific thoughts. Does that help to answer your question? Yeah, okay. The reason I didn't want to talk about answering your question, how do you go from with specific to general, is because here we can do it. We can talk about all of these little general things, specific things, color of the flowers, the pencils, how many, where they're located on that. But when you're writing a Jessup memorial, you can't. You're talking about revenue and all of this other stuff. But treat it like a passive. Okay? Treat it like a specific. Okay. Sorry. So, okay. Good. Okay. Where I would like to go now is back to our PowerPoint presentation. And how are we doing on time, Ali?
Do you remember when we started?
We started at 20 minutes after.
20 minutes, so around.
We should have
20, so you have around 13 minutes.
13 or 30?
13.
13. Okay, fine. We definitely will be continuing tomorrow. And before we break, I want
to dedicate for today's session. Maybe
if
we can add more.
If we can, let's do it. Okay.
I don't know whether the audience is okay with that.
Okay.
Have their feedback maybe right now.
Ask it, please, if you would.
Are you okay with if we continue more than half an hour this session? Yes. Are you okay with that?
Let's see.
Raise your hands. Just raise your hands if you agree if we continue for more than half an hour.
Okay, no, we won't. We won't.
Those girls are.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have to have consensus on it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, fine. So we'll.
They cannot vote, right?
They can't vote because it would take 13 minutes to count the votes. I'm sorry. Even if we did this, voting online, sorry. Okay. Too much technology kind of gets in the way. Okay. In case you haven't noticed, I'm what we call a technology curmudgeon. A curmudgeon is an old man like this who doesn't like. I'm a technology curmudgeon. Okay? Because technology often takes away our attention, draws off. It's like too many words. Remember I said every word you write either adds to or detracts from. When we have too much technology in our minds all of the time, it detracts from our very thought process. And I see it all the time. Okay. So that's just my own personal statement.
I just added the poll.
Yes.
On the Telegram channel, so the online participants
they may vote. Okay, fine.
We have received one vote.
One vote. You see, so technology might work or might not work. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. Let's continue on. After the closing session this evening, which will be around what 6:30?
Around 6 or
6:30. Okay. I'll make myself available here for anybody who might want to ask any questions. We won't continue the presentation because we will do that tomorrow. But if you want to ask any questions, discuss anything, maybe you might have other questions about English. I've got a whole computer full of it. So come and join. In fact, help me remember to ask how many people want to come after the thing. Okay, so we'll go on.
Here, Donald will receive so far 8 voters, and all of them are, okay with.
Okay, but but we have people here who have to go on. So yeah,
they may leave. They may leave at.
No. If they leave, then they miss part of the presentation, which they are entitled to get tomorrow. Okay. That's the whole thing. So too much technology. Okay, fine. Okay, so we got all of these things, and we're still stuck in the box with old thinking. Okay, and this is the problem, the conundrum, the dilemma. No matter what you do, you're stuck in the box with old thinking. Okay, I'm an American, and I think in English. When I try to do something in Russian, and I'm totally fluent in Russian, I still am thinking in my English thoughts. Okay, I'm taking my English structure and modifying it for Russian. Now, you as Farsi speakers are doing the same thing. You're taking your Farsi structure and you're putting it into English. You have to do it. That's the way we do it. Don't think that you can just become automatic English speakers by doing it. You're still thinking in Farsi. That's what you learned when you were 3 years old. So we take that into consideration and we make sure that it works with us. So here we have a World One aviator, okay? And he needs to learn how to fly a different plane, okay? This was 100 years ago, for example. He's got to acquire new skills. How does he do that? Anybody? Yeah.
At first, he would try to study the mechanics of the plane itself, and then he would start observing how the plane would move, and then he would try and fly the plane actually.
You mean he's going to observe and then he's going to fly up in the air? I don't think so. I think he's going to do a lot of training on this tricycle first, okay? Okay? Okay, yeah, go.
I think I am qualified to answer this because I was in flight school. So basically, first of all, we take the basic theories, and then we go to the simulator first, which is like the training wheels, as you said. Then we do more theoretical stuff. Then we go to an actual airplane. Okay. But we have to go through the training wheels first, as you mentioned. Exactly. First of all, private pilot license, PPL, then the commercial pilot license, then the
Okay, forget the licenses. I'm not.
Well, you have to go through the training wheels, the simulation first, then.
Okay, why?
Because not everyone is qualified to go to the airplane at first.
Well, no. Why do you have to go to the simulator? What are you doing in the simulator?
You're basically learning the let's say, the buttons, the aerodynamics of the aircraft.
How are you learning it?
Basically, you go to the simulator, you sit, it's a one-to-one replica with all the buttons.
Yeah, okay.
It's the simulator with the same aerodynamics of the airplane, limitations, the amount of bank angle, for example. So basically, you're going to learn the basics of the aircraft first. Then,
what, by reading about it?
No, you actually do it. You actually practice it in the simulator.
Why?
Because you learned about it. Because you want to fly the airplane later.
What?
Because you want to fly the airplane later.
Of course.
Yeah.
But why do you have to go through the simulator?
Because you need to learn it first.
What is learning here? What is learning here?
Doing it.
Doing it. Yeah. Okay. Why? Why do you have to do it?
Practice.
Your muscles have to know what to do. It's muscle memory. Okay? That's what we're talking about. Sorry.
To say that, but just flying. In this hypothetical situation, we are talking about like 100 years ago or World War One.
Mm-hmm.
So they just flew an airplane. So that's how they learned that. So I believe by doing it and repeating it, making this.
They know the theory. Okay, what they got was the theory. The thing that they lack is the muscle memory. And we all kind of think that because we can speak a language, we know how the language works. We're back to this idea of becoming programmers rather than just users. And we have to change our muscle memory. Okay? And so it's over and over and over. And how long does it take to retrain?
It depends, because I was in military flight school, I wasn't in civil.
Mm-hmm.
We just took 12 hours of theory, 2 hours in the simulator, then hop on straight away.
Whoa, okay. How about it?
That's the problem. The military standards is just do it, you know? I think in the civil, I think it's 5 months of ground training.
Mm-hmm.
Then it is off to the simulator for 2 months, then actually flying it.
Okay, okay.
You have to have, I think, almost 3 months of training with an instructor to have a solo flight later.
Right. Okay. So we're talking about total of what? 3 months? 5 months?
8 months.
8 months a year. Okay. That's it. And it's even longer for doing the same thing with a language. Okay. You've kind of killed my next thing is retraining, but that's what it is, okay? It's relearning everything, okay? Let's see, where are we? I want to know where we are on time. How much time do we have left?
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay, fine. Anybody recognize this?
Nike.
Nike. What's the slogan for Nike? Just do it. What's our slogan for our course, for what you're doing?
Just
for this
training.
No, not just plain English. No. Very simple. What did you do when you were retraining? Huh? When you were retraining, okay, you first had the rules. You just follow the rules, and you do it. And you follow the rules, and do it. Now, I don't know how many times I say this to all of my writing students, just follow the rules that I gave you. And they don't do it, okay? And one of the reasons they don't do it is they run out of time. So they think, okay, Jessup starts when? In about September, Ali?
Yes.
And then when do you have to present? I'm talking about the mood.
The registration opened, I think, the month before September, in July.
Okay.
Late July.
Okay, when do you get the problem, though?
Just 2 days ago.
Okay, so you got the problem mid-September. Okay. When do you make your first presentation? Orally. Okay.
We have 2 different stages. One for the national rounds.
Okay. I want to know the first time you present.
The first time is around, for example, from February to March.
Okay. So you got from mid-September to February. Okay. Now, thing I tell people is you have to have a cutoff point for your research, and then you have to do your writing. How many people have done Jessup or trained in it? Okay, what I always run into is I hear people, they're still doing research like a week before, 2 days before, a night before. Okay, you can't get your English right. You're going to come up with something that is, again, gobbledygook. You have to say, okay, at some point I'm going to stop my research and just follow the rules in the writing. And in actual fact, sometimes you might get the law wrong, but at least you'll be presenting it in a reasonable way. And maybe you can buffalo is, you know what buffalo, maybe you can buffalo the judges into thinking, yeah, okay, or at least engaging into some conversation with them. Okay, so I think we're almost finished, but I just want to say this. If you follow the writing rules, and I mean follow them for a year, okay, or follow them while you're doing your Jessup, you will end up writing at least 40% better than you are currently writing. I can promise you that. And now, it's not easy, but it's hard. Are we out of time?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll continue from there. Any comments? Is this interesting for you? Does this help? Okay. Now, does anybody want to meet with me after the closing this evening, this afternoon, later afternoon, 6:30? Okay, good. Okay, anybody? I'll be here. Okay, where do we meet? Like in the
Can't meet.
The meet over there. Okay, so whenever it's closed, I'll be back. Okay, thank you very much. Now, no. It is about you. I applaud you. Believe me, when you start thinking about it that way, then you do it. Believe me, it really works that way. Okay, good job. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.